Videos have surfaced online of Israeli citizens being abducted by suspected Hamas members during a desert rave. The chaotic scenes reveal festival goers attempting to flee the event and avoid abduction. It has been reported that Hamas also opened fire and launched rockets into the crowd. Well, joining me live is Danny Ayalon, former Israel ambassador to the US and former Deputy Foreign Minister, live in Tel Aviv. Thank you very much for joining us. Certainly, yes, thank you so much for your time. Significant planning, by the sounds of it, of this attack. How much was this, do you think, about intelligence failure?
Well, it was a colossal intelligence failure, but I think on the basis of that, or before even in the deeper level, was a concept. Here we thought that Hamas was really all about taking care of their own people after they performed their coup against the Palestinian Authority back in 2007, that once they are in control of a territory, they would stop act as a terror organization, but be more serving their people. But this is not the case. And we were fooled just last week, Jane, by another threat of Hamas to more skirmishes, and for that again they extorted more money, and this is where the military was just off guard. We thought this incident was over, and just yesterday, which was a Sabbath, the Israeli Shabbat, which is the Saturday, our holy day, plus it's a holiday, high holiday. Most of the soldiers were on holiday, and hence this really gruesome result.
So moving forward, what options are there?
Well, the government has declared Hamas or the entire Gaza as an enemy state. We have so far looked at Gaza. We try to separate between the population of Gaza and the Hamas. But now, as we see that the population there is also part of the scheme, that means that if they are indeed a state by law, we are not obliged to supply them. They depend on us, on water, electricity, but mostly I think the idea now is to mop up Hamas, and the end goal is or should be to demilitarize Gaza altogether.
We're hearing there are hostages, including women, children, soldiers. What is the latest that you can tell us?
Well, this is a shock. The entire country is still just reeling out of a state of shock. Nobody expected that, and certainly we see all the photos, of children, of women, older women. Yes, we don't even know at this point how many are in their custody. As how many hostages, but we assume there are around 50. And would that hamper a military operation? They may use them as human shields. So here I think we will have to go on parallel track. That means the military operation will have to be planned and go as needed. At the same time, we hold Hamas responsible for the well-being of the hostages.
We have been speaking to people in the last 24 or so hours being told to, stay safe in their bunkers. It's not necessarily the safest place, so is it? I believe places in the south have been asked to stay near shelters or within 15 seconds from their shelters.
Yes, it's all a matter of range. The Qassam rockets, which come out of Gaza, actually they cover almost the entire state, but from Gaza to get into our border towns in the south, it's about 15 to 20 seconds. So this is why they have to stay very close. Where I am, let's say in the Tel Aviv area, it's about 30 seconds. But most people now are advised to stay close to shelters and to plan and know exactly, in case of a siren, where they need to go.
What about flights? I believe they're cancelled coming into Israel. We've heard of people just getting on some of the last flights out of Israel in just, yesterday. What is happening in relation to that?
Yes, well, yes, they closed the space of Israel, Israeli space, and um, and that's very frustrating, mainly for Israelis who are abroad and are trying to get back home. But this is also what they target. The Hamas is also targeting the airport, and this is why I can understand why airlines would be very, very careful about it. But this thing is a touch and go. And I hope that within 24 hours, the Israeli skies will be opening.
And Danny, can you tell us more about Hamas? We know by the sounds of it, it was a very well-planned attack from their point of view, very well thought out. What more do we know?
Well, it's a very, very radical Sunni extremist Sunni Islamic organization, which is basically a proxy of Iran. And Iran is destabilizing the entire Middle East on top of their illegal nuclear plans and ambitions. They use proxies. They use Hezbollah in Lebanon. They use Hamas on our southern border, like they use the Houthis against the Saudis in Yemen, or the militias, Iranian militias in Syria and Iraq. So right now, we are also getting geared to I would say, another front, which may be opened from the north, from Hezbollah. And Israel has mobilized also a lot of troops up north, just in case we will need to face another front.
And in general, what are people saying to you? How nervous are they? Is this the worst they've seen in their lifetime? Can you give us a description and a sense of how people are feeling?
The worst, yeah, I would say most people, it's the worst, I would say, attack that they see on their lifetime, because, you know, we can take, as difficult as it is, you know, when it's soldiers to soldiers, you know, you expect casualties. But when it comes to execution point, you know, babies that are being killed in their beds, you know, when they go into homes, when, you know, I saw your reporter was talking about this nature festival, which was out there in the desert. Hundreds of young people were there, and they were surrounded by this Hamas terrorists who were just spraying them, killing them, throwing grenades. And many of the casualties came out of these youngsters who all their wish was just to celebrate nature.
You're a former Israel ambassador to the US. What can you tell us about the US and what they are saying in regards to this?
Oh, yes. Well, the U.S. is squarely behind us. I think it was a very important message by President Biden, who came out himself, which shows the seriousness that the situation is and how the United States understands it. And I believe the way he basically formalized the message was, Israeli enemies, you know, don't take advantage, don't open another front, because then you will be responsible. And right now, at this point, what the U.S. is giving us the political cover. So let's say in the UN, there won't be any condemnations. Unfortunately, the UN is not a friendly body for Western countries, because it's there is an automatic Islamic control. 57 Arab countries there. They can do Muslim countries. They can do pretty much whatever they want in terms of passing resolutions. So the U.S. will give us cover. They will not allow condemning Israel in the Security Council or any other measures. And we may need a supply of munitions. We never asked anybody else to come to our aid in terms of sending troops. We can take care of ourselves, but we may run out of certain munitions. And for that, we establish all the necessary coordinations with the U.S. now.
All right, and moving forward, big festivals, concerts, for example, have been cancelled, which is to be expected, I guess, for now. But what can we expect, do you think, in the next 24 to 48 hours?
Well, I believe right now the military is very, very careful, because, I would say the secret of, or the art of war is the surprise and do the things which the enemy does not expect. I think that Hamas right now, which has fortified its position in Gaza, and using their own population as human shields, they are probably expecting an Israeli operation right into Gaza. So before we do that, you must gather the intelligence, brush off all the war plans, and I think that within the 24 hours, we may see an all-out Israeli troops getting into Gaza, going after the headquarters, the bases of the terrorists, and their caches of munitions and mainly the rockets.
Danny Ayalon, former Israel ambassador to the US and former Deputy Foreign Minister, thank you so much for your time.